think we should be okay.
Hello.
Hey.
Should I take my shoes off?
You should.
Yeah.
You should.
Okay.
Should
I'm having such a
definitely.
good time, dog. I'm running on like 4 hours of sleep. Just got back from camp. Just been out and about for the last 2 weeks.
How was camp? Well, actually, sorry. Hey, guys. Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to the Cellar Podcast. We are at episode number 5.
Oh my god.
Can't believe we made it.
I can believe it.
I can too.
Anyways, welcome to episode 5. This is Bean There, Done That.
Because we're at table 304, a coffee shop down here in Wheeling. So
It's
like,
been an amazing time so far.
fun play on words on coffee beans.
We
Been there, done that.
We just filmed the vlog. We got to make a bunch of really cool drinks. We made matcha. I thought I hated matcha. I didn't think it was. I thought it was gross and icky. It's actually really, really good.
Yeah,
they just have to make it right. And Devin makes it right. She's taken all the classes for it. She knows exactly what she's doing. And we got some iced lattes on there. They're so good.
Yeah, I got what I'm gonna be drinking on this episode is a strawberry matcha latte.
And it's delicious. Strawberry puree, actually.
It's unmatched. Now that I put the straw in it, I'm not sure if that is my favorite one. Like if I would change my rankings, because
Really?
I can mix up the strawberry puree better now that the straw's in there.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be number 1 for my drinks today.
Do you remember your your lineup?
My lineup was the hot latte with brown butter with the brown butter flavor. That was my number 1. My number 2 was the strawberry matcha. My number 3 was the iced lavender latte, which I didn't expect to be so delicious. And then my 4 was the blueberry coconut matcha. But I might switch that for number 1 now that I can mix it up. But with that being said, all of them, I said in the vlog, all of them are above an 8.5. Most of them are in the 9 range, if not a 10. So
if you caught what Sammy was saying, I'm drinking the iced blueberry coconut matcha, and it just tastes like summer to me. I think it's so good. It's not grainy at all. I didn't like matcha because it was grainy, and I think my 1st through 4 ranking, I think I either put my matcha first and then my
iced latte,
and then I put Sammy's matcha, and then I put the hot. And Sammy said they're all above an 8.5, and I 100% agree. The only reason the hot was at the end was because it's just, I don't really like hot coffee. I'll 100% get it when it's really cold outside, like fall. It's you're at
Snowing.
a football game. It's borderline snowing.
Football game, a hot latte at a football game.
It's just like I feel like I'm in a book. You know what I mean? I feel like I'm in a Hallmark movie.
Yeah, I'm in an episode of Gilmore Girls.
I remember being a little kid and in 5th grade, just running around the football field because my brother was playing with all like the other players' siblings, and they had a Starbucks at the Wheeling University field, Jesuit.
Oh,
and
I didn't
I'd
know
be
that.
like, yeah, and it was awesome. All the little kids, like all the boys are throwing football. Me and the girls are going to get just like hot chocolates from Starbucks, like with our.
I've never
Central
had a
Neon.
hot chocolate from Starbucks.
There's hot chocolate, and then there's like the frozen hot chocolates.
Oh.
You ever had those?
From Sheets.
Yeah.
I've had those before from Sheets, and they're really
Starbucks has
good.
those. But anyways,
Tell us about camp, Gia. How was camp?
Sammy, camp is it's such a blessing. And camp, I went back in 2018, and then I went in 2019, and then I just stopped. I fell off. They fell off for COVID. They had to skip 2 years for 2020, and I'm guessing like 2021. They're back, and it's amazing. It's such a mental reset. It's like grounding, but for an entire week. You leave your phone in the room all day. You just bring your water bottle. It's like a stereotypical camp, but for weirdos. And I made a playlist before I went to camp called For the Weirdos, and it's just like rock. You know what I mean? We listen to just rock, and we headbang, and we just like, there's a mosh pit. There was one day, it rained for like 3 hours, and I looked at Ronan, and I was, because everybody's inside, you know what I mean? Like, we had activities planned, they got canceled because it's thunderstorming, whatever. Everybody's just like taking naps and relaxing. It's like midweek. I'm like, Ronan, let's go outside. Let's go outside and dance in the rain and just have fun. We go outside and we're out there in this huge front field for like 30 minutes just by ourselves, dripping. So it's lightning, thundering outside, and slowly, like 2 by 2, people start showing up on the porch and watching us. I'm like, you're crazy, whatever. You're freezing. It's so cold out here. And then somebody joins us, right? And I think it was Haley. I think it was Tino's fiance first, or it might have been Jada. But those were like the first 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then we're like, guys, come on. We bring out the slip and slide. We bring out that tarp, and everybody's like,
oh, that's awesome.
I don't know. Sammy, we got the whole camp out there for like 2 hours. We found this puddle. We were just diving in. You know,
that's
just
so much fun.
We went horseback riding. It was arts and crafts. Remember how I told you about our special friend?
Mm-hmm.
My special friend was awesome. He gave me a fuse bead that was just the letter G. You know those like beads that you iron?
Oh, yeah.
That's a fuse bead, and they're huge at camp. It was a G, and somebody gave it to me and said, hey, this is from your special friend. They said, you're a straight G. And they gave it to me. It was awesome. They didn't
lie.
No, it was awesome. I had so much fun, Sammy. It's just a come back down to earth. It's awesome.
Yeah. There's like a running joke going in the Campbell household about like their sister Devin and myself call it the cult camp. Because it's just like, it's wholesome cult energy.
So
that's what it gives. That's what it gives completely.
I was never taking them serious about the cult camp thing. Because whatever, you got to be there to experience it. But this year we did something we didn't do my last like 2 times I was there. We did the rosary. You know how like you can pray the rosary, a bunch of Hail Marys.
Mm-hmm.
But we did it with candles, and it was dark outside.
Oh.
So everybody had their own candle. Some people had 2, and we all had rosaries in our hand. And in front of camp, in front of this huge field, is a road. You know what I mean? It's a main road. People drive on it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's in the middle of the sticks, so it's like one car every 20 minutes, you know? So
when like random semi blowing through.
Exactly. But honestly, if I was driving and I looked to my right and in the middle of a field was a bunch of people sitting around candles.
No, I'm calling the police.
Lighting them. Yeah, I'm calling the police, because who are you sacrificing?
There are cult practices happening.
And looking from the outside in, that definitely does look very culty. Yeah. Very cult. We're all sitting there chanting. Like,
no, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Oh, it was awesome. I wish everybody could experience it, but it's definitely not for everybody.
It's also funny because it's a St. Vincent's school church camp.
Mm-hmm.
And it started out mostly with just St. Vincent's kids. And then my fiance Brian got invited to go with his friends 1 year before I would have known him. And then so he brought his cousins, and then he brought his siblings, and then his siblings brought their friends and their cousins. And so now the camp is just run by like Campbell's and Cusicks. Campbell's and Cusicks only, and then like a little bit of St. Vincent's.
So it's we do the night before we leave. Well, we have campfire every night. Where we just like, they play. This year's theme was growing pains, but like for campfire it was called the Amazing Race. And all of the adults, so I was an adult, all the people, I think it's like over 18, right?
Okay.
Run the camp. They run the activities. Like, I was on media, so I was around like filming people all day, taking pictures. There's promo videos, there's arts and crafts, like horseback riding, games and acts, night games. So we all, for campfire, dressed up as a country, and I was Greenland.
Oh, okay.
So I dressed in all green, and the campers had to like remember us and figure out who we were. Anyway, so at campfire the night before we leave, there's family hugs, and because it's just a bunch of families at camp. So the Campbells and the Cusicks took up like a third, right? And then there's another really big group. It's called the Porters.
Yeah, like Megan Porter
the Hammerquist. Yeah, and they take up like the other half, and then the rest is just like little sprinkles. Like,
yeah.
But it's awesome.
Yeah,
it's like
I know
a big
the Porters were
reunion.
like big there too, because they all went to St. Vincent's, right?
Yeah, and they still run it. They do a really great job too.
That's so funny.
Anyways, but camp was amazing. I could talk about it for hours. Sammy, what did you do while I was gone?
What did I do while you were gone? I Well, when you went to that concert, as everybody would always see, I went shopping. I got a bunch of stuff for the wedding, so I'm pretty good to go on wedding stuff. Like I have.
It's in like 2 months.
I know, isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? Dude, we gotta get some stuff. I don't even know like how you legally get married, but I'm about to be a Campbell.
I mean,
I'm gonna socially change my last name. Yeah,
I think LaBelle.
last name.
Anyways, you would ever open a business, I hope it's LaBelle's.
I know. I feel like socially I'm just going to make it Campbell, and then I feel like it's going to be so hard with like having a physician assistant license to change all that. So I'm going to wait till like we have kids before I go about legally changing, because it seems too stressful to me.
Are you going to give your kids Campbell or LaBelle?
Campbell.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think so.
Whatever. I mean, I'm happy because my last name's Campbell, but like I, as a kid, would probably want my last name to be LaBelle.
Yeah. I wish I saw somebody made a TikTok about it, and they were like, everybody should take the cooler last name every time. You should take the cooler last name. But
like if you had like a baby girl and her first name started with an L, like something real extravagant, like Lucinda LaBelle. We call her Lucy or something.
Yeah, that's
like,
actually so
hard.
cute. Yeah. It's cute, but it's also really cool.
Yes.
She would be famous.
She would. She'd have to be. There's no other
with
option.
that name. Yeah.
With like Lucinda.
Yeah.
Like, what? She's a witch at that
I
point.
always get, she for real is. I always get complimented on my last name too. It's a good last name.
Should we tell the podcast what your business idea is for LaBelle's? Remember how Brian was like, Sammy should open a,
Smoothie bowl?
was it a bookstore? I don't want to give it away because what if somebody takes it?
I don't know, because I have a few business ideas back in here.
Really?
One of them was smoothie bowls, and we
Yeah.
call it LaBelle's Bowls.
Yeah.
Definitely a bookstore, just calling it like LaBelle's Books.
Yeah.
Books by LaBelle.
Yeah. That sounds like you're the author.
I could be.
LaBelle's Picks.
LaBelle's
Maybe.
Picks. Yeah. Yeah.
Let's get it in the works.
Yeah. Yeah, I got a few things coming.
LaBelle's Library!
LaBelle's Library is good. Except you have to buy the books. Not to be
You can't rent
confused with
them.
a true library.
Yeah.
They're not
Yeah.
they're
Yeah,
not free.
It's not for free.
Or rentable. We'd have to make money somehow.
You can make it a coffee store too, or like a smoothie bowls. Anyways,
Mhm.
all right.
But yeah, pretty much after that I just got wedding stuff. I worked, edited stuff, and then yesterday we went to a friend's wedding and celebrated them, which was a lot of fun.
Were
So-
you teed?
Was I what?
Teed?
I don't know what that means.
Teed is like turnt. You know what turnt is?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Teed.
I was a little bit.
Yeah.
But thankfully I'm not hungover
Teed
today.
turnt up.
I was teed. That's hilarious.
That's what we say. That's awesome.
But yeah, I guess let's get into the episode today. Been there, done that. And we're just gonna maybe give out our own advice that we have. Go through some questions about like lessons learned, issues we've run into. We're just kind of rolling with it today.
Yeah. Anything that kind of fits in that category. So
It's broad today.
it is very broad today.
Be patient with us.
Please. So, Sammy, I'll start off with a question for you.
Cool.
So, my kind of format for this episode is going to be kind of like, I'm going to ask you questions that I've definitely done because I've been there, you know? So, I just want to see if Sammy's been there too. Okay.
Okay.
Sammy, have you ever peed on the side of the road, like the side of the highway?
Not the side. Well, yeah. When I was younger, so we used to travel up to New Hampshire with my grandparents, and my grandparents, we called them Bumpa and Gummy. Bumpa would have us drive, and it would be me, my sister, and my brother, and then their 2 dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And so Bumpa would sit in the front seat, and it was this small Ford truck, like really, really small truck, like not like your dad's where it's spacious,
Yeah.
like very, very teeny tiny. And so Bumpa would be in the driver's seat, Gummy is in the passenger seat, and then there's this flip up seat where it's like it's supposed to be the center console, but you make it in a seat. Ryan would sit there, my older brother, and then me and my sister Shannon would sit in the back. It's so small though, the seats are like attached to the side of the car.
I know exactly what you're talking about because Trace had one and it was miserable.
It's so little.
It's not even, those aren't even real seats. Like you put like tools back there.
Yeah, no, if you get in a car accident, those seatbelts aren't doing anything for you. And me and my sister would have to sit, so like the whole 14-hour ride we're just like facing each other in the back seat, and then there's 2 dogs.
14 hours in that truck.
Yeah, I think that's what it's 14 hours from West Virginia, so from Charlotte, I can't remember.
Still
it
long.
might be 14 or but yeah, long drive. And Bumpa, he would like pee in like a water bottle while driving. So if we had to pee,
no stops.
He's like, you get off on the side of the road and pee. And so like we would pee on the side of the road
as a little kid. Were you scared?
Kid. Oh yeah, terrified. Didn't enjoy it one bit. But long story short, or short story long.
Yeah.
Yes, to answer your question.
Okay. Should I ask you my next question?
Yeah. Well, I guess on the same topic, have you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Multiple times, yeah.
Drunken situation or?
Never drunk. Always willingly.
I'm going to put it in the shade.
That's kind of concerning.
Feel my skin. It's warm over here.
Are you sunbathing?
I think so. I'm sweating.
Never drunken. I think it's always kind of been like willingly, just kind of like I just gotta pee real bad. Like
you just gotta go. There's literally no time.
Oh my gosh, the most recent time was when we went to the concert, and we're in downtown Detroit, somewhere we've never been. We're 3 girls, no like weapons or anything. Detroit is notorious for just pop pop, you know. So we didn't want to look for a bathroom because it's kind of sketch, so we just peed in the parking garage.
Yeah.
Is that gross?
I have a friend who's done that, and I have a video of her done it numerous times.
Video is federal.
Oh man. Yeah, go ahead with your next one.
Have you ever gotten hit on the head with a bottle?
No, absolutely not.
No?
I've never put myself in a situation where I would find myself being hit in the head with a bottle. Now, Gia, tell us the story.
Okay. I think this has happened multiple times. I just can't remember. I can't remember the other time because I go to West Liberty University.
You know what's actually crazy?
Balls.
Yeah, I went to WVU, and of course, like, there's a lot of partying going on, but never has
ranked, I think, top 10 biggest party schools.
Yeah, but I've never been anywhere where a bottle gets thrown. But I have been to one party where a bottle got thrown, and it was at West Lib.
Yeah.
And
they just don't
maybe
know how
what
to
the
act,
baseball
apparently.
house was considered to be at that point.
Yeah.
But yeah, tell us about it.
So,
did you go to the hospital?
No, it hurt so freaking bad. I didn't even see it coming. It's hilarious. I saw it, I probably would have peed my pants laughing. So I'm standing there, and this is what was considered like the track house, right? It's on this hill.
I didn't know there was a track house.
It's like, I guess one of them, like, it does anyways. So we're standing in like the front yard, whatever, and there's this like tree stump that's like about taller than me, you know what I mean, but no leaves, nothing. It's just like they cut half the tree down. We're standing like that's right in front of me. I have like 4 or 5, 6 people with me. My family's there. Like, I'm feeling fine. I don't even think I'm drinking. I'm just there having a good time.
Yeah.
And these people are like throwing cans, and I'm seeing them hit people, and they're like throwing rocks and stuff, and I'm like, what is your issue? Like, everybody's here having a good time. Why are you throwing cans at people's heads, like into the air, just tossing them into the crowd? That's fucked up. Like,
yeah, no.
So I'm just like scanning my surroundings, whatever, making sure my people are cool. And all of a sudden, I don't even see it. I was not cool. My surroundings were not scanned.
No, nobody was looking at
Nobody. No. So all of a sudden, it was simultaneously. I felt it smack me on the dome. This heavy, something just smacked me in the head, and I hear, boom. I heard it as soon as I felt it. And I'm like, what the F? I turn around, there's a Tito's bottle on the ground. A fat-ass Tito's bottle. It's empty. Like, that could have just, like, knocked me out. Good thing I got a big noggin. Like,
that big old skull.
Sammy, I I had a bump immediately. You know what I mean? I turned around, just was ignorant. I was so mad. And I think Ronan saw it, and she just was like, jaw dropped.
What did you guys do after? Just leave?
So we actually, I had to walk away before I started like tweaking out and like screaming and crying in front of everybody because my head hurts. Like,
I'm going
the F just threw a fat ass Tito's bottle at me. You know?
No. What's wrong with you? At least thank God it didn't break.
Yeah, like that would have been crazy, but
somebody would have been getting arrested.
I like stepped away, whatever. I went and found my big cousin Tino. And I was like, Tino, somebody threw a Tito's bottle at my head. And we're looking around, and lo and behold, it's the same people who are throwing cans. You know what I mean? Like, I assumed. Mm-hmm. I'm assuming it's them. So I go over, and I said something to them, and then they called me a bunch of just bad names, and they said they beat up women. So I walked away, and I went home.
Okay.
Yeah, they were just men talking crazy to me and Ronan. Ronan's like 5'4".
Gross.
And they were like, throwing the B word at us, and
ew.
All I said was like, dude, come on, like, quit throwing stuff. Everybody, like, we're just trying to hang out.
Grow up.
Yeah, grow up. He's like, I'm not throwing stuff. Anyways,
grow up.
I have gotten hit on the head with a bottle.
Yeah,
Do you have any advice for me to stop that from happening again? Because it's terrible. It's miserable.
Maybe just choose your company more wisely.
Yeah. I hate going out for that reason.
Yeah. Same.
It's hilarious. I wish that's one of those moments that you could just, like, rewind.
Yeah, like, I wish we could, like, dig into, like, Ronan's
POV.
Her POV from it, because that would be... I mean, I'm upset that it happened for you, but
it's hilarious.
It did happen, so to have the evidence and to have the video footage of it would be funny. But yeah, I'm more of like a divey bar day drink type of go out. So like going out to like your chill relaxed bar, there's like cornhole out there's Yahtzee, board games, and then you go to the next one that's still like chill. They have a karaoke bar, but yeah, not too much for like house partying and like clubbing or anything like that. I feel like dive bars is the safe way to do it.
There was this one time at West Lib, welcome week, actually my freshman year, and this place called the White House was literally a White House, like they were known for throwing parties, was throwing a party for welcome week. And I remember coming around from the back side of the house because I hear people like starting to like, I don't know, just they're having a good time. So I come up and like 5 minutes after I get to the front of the house, everybody's standing in the front yard. Somebody punched the front window open, like just punched through it, right? Whole thing like fell in. I don't think the glass like broke or anything. It was just like a screen, I think, and it just like they just punched it in. The owner, I'm like, oh, did you guys see that? I'm trying to instigate, right? Oh, he just punched the window open. And like, somebody's like, hey, this guy owns a house, whatever, tell him what you saw. I'm like, that guy right there just broke your front window. And I point at him. And he goes and grabs him and drags him into the street. I'm like, hit him!
Gia.
That's one of my favorite core memories ever.
Gia.
Anyways.
Most important lessons is, ladies, if you're out drinking, only drink your own drinks. Cover them up. If you're drinking, make sure you have a ride home. Uber or Lyft.
IC cab if you're in Wheeling or Pittsburgh.
IC cab. And go out with a good group of friends. Because I did have an incident in undergrad where I unfortunately did have a drug in my drink. And can't tell you anything about the night, but my good group of friends can. And they thankfully got me like safely home in bed.
Was that in Morgantown?
Stayed up with me. Yeah. Freshman year. It was like our second week out there, but we just like weren't, I mean, obviously after that we like were much safer as far as like accepting drinks and like keeping things covered, but yeah, stay safe out there.
Were you at a club or a bar?
Yeah, it was like a club. It's called Annex.
That's Annex would roofie you. Like,
yeah. Yeah. So.
Annex is literally a dungeon.
It is. I think they called it that at some point.
Yeah.
Then it was called like Annex, and then. But yeah, if you're gonna go out with like a really good group, like people that you trust very, very much, like, and be safe. What's some of your other questions?
Speaking on just like the topic of just like alcohol and just have you ever been down so bad, just like throwing up, drunk, you know what I mean, just a hot mess, you just pray for forgiveness and for it to go away, like, God, please, like, just help me, like, I won't do it again, like, I'm laying on the bathroom floor, like, cheek on the tile, please, Lord.
No, I don't. I mean, that's just like not where I would go, is praying.
Yeah.
And asking for forgiveness. I've been pretty like down bad before, but not to the point of praying. My probably worst down bad was down in Savannah, going out with Ariel, and my mom and my godmom came out with us. And my godmom's daughter, she could hold her liquor.
Really?
And she could hold a lot of it.
Wow.
But she was there for everybody. So like every time she's getting a drink, she was getting me and Ariel a drink.
Oh,
like
no.
Every time she went to go get my mom a drink, she's coming back with a drink for us. And like the next day I just we had guests in the home, and I woke up and I was unfortunately sick. I'd never get sick the night of, but I probably will get sick the next day.
Mm-hmm.
But we had guests, somebody's in both bathrooms. All of a sudden I got a yak.
Did you throw up in the sink? Because I remember when you shamed me for that.
No, you want to know what I did like a good adult?
What?
I took it outside.
Oh.
I took it outside. I did not puke in the sink because I am a grown-up.
Okay, like, whatever.
But that's probably the most down bad I've ever been. And my poor friend Ariel, she was not feeling too hot either, but she heard us like giggling out in the living room, and she's in her room. And like when all of a sudden you wake up and you're like a little bit self-conscious of where last night could have gone. Mm-hmm. You browned out a little bit. And so she hears us like out there giggling, and she's like, oh my God, they're not as down bad as I am. I can't go out there. I can't go out in front of Sammy's mom out there. Yeah. I'm physically not well, and they all sound like they're just fine. And then she finally like braved it and walked outside, and she saw me like curled up on the couch like this, and she's like, oh, thank God. I thought it was just me. She was like, I heard you guys giggling out here, and I was like, I went too far and nobody else did.
One trick I've like started to what's the word where you like incorporate maybe into like the routine before I know I'm going out for the night. Pedialyte.
Yeah, big
that
time.
seems so obvious, but like for the backyard brawl in Morgantown, I drank a Pedialyte the entire way there, while I was getting ready, and we drank Borgs, just the whole like tailgate. You know what a Borg is?
No.
Borg is when you take a gallon of water, you dump like half of it out, you drink half of it, do whatever you want with it. Maybe like only leave like a third or half, depends on how drunk you want to get, and then you just dump your alcohol in it, and then like. We took Mio. You know what Mio is? Mm-hmm. We took
those
Mio
flavor drops.
and like put that in there. So if we put like Tito's in there, so it'd be like Tito's, water, and Mio, and it's just a gallon. And you like some people name it like so. I've seen like Borgen Wallen, like just
that's hilarious.
You give it a nickname, you write it on there. But we drank Borgs, and Borgs will have you down so horrendous.
Yeah, I don't think I'll ever do a Borg.
Yeah,
I'm too old now.
Yeah.
I'm more of just like, now at this point, I'm either a couple tequila pineapples or margaritas. If I'm going to do an alcohol, it's going to be tequila of some sort. Actually, a trick to that Ariel showed me is tequila pineapple with a little bit of coconut cream, and it's really good.
It does sound good.
Yeah, and then otherwise, like beer and seltzers, like that's pretty much it. I'm not going hard.
Make my tummy bubble.
Yeah, that's why I'd rather just drink like a light beer, like a Michelob.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm not gonna do a Borg.
Mm-mm.
Too old. Been there, done that, for real.
That's funny. So I don't know if this next question is going to pertain to you because you've been married since like 12 years old. Have you ever drove by an ex's house on purpose?
Yeah, that doesn't pertain
no, it
to
doesn't
me.
say whatever.
No, nope. I have not. I have been in the car with a friend doing it.
Yeah. Supporter.
Yeah.
Ally.
I stand by my girls. I will always, if we got to go to that man's house, we're going to his house. But I've never had to do it myself.
I remember being 16 years old. So I was in a relationship from 14 to 16. I'm a little kid. Like, I barely even know what's going on. I thought I was, like, grown, whatever. It just shattered my heart when we broke up. I remember being 16 years old, fresh driver's license, whatever, driving past.
That driver's license, Olivia Rodrigo.
And that's what I was playing. That's what I was playing on the way to Warwood to drive past this man's house.
Shut up.
And yes. And I talked to him now.
So that's kind of corny.
I was down so bad.
No, but do we have to put us in your shoes like you were like a 16-year-old girl?
A 16-year-old girl who was in a relationship from 14 to 16 in high school having panic attacks every day. You know what I mean? I was obsessed with this man. Like, we're cool now. We got Snowbiz the other day. His name's JC Maxwell. Shout out. I hope he watches this. But yeah, I hope he knows. I hope he knows I was driving past his house real bad, stalking his social media until he blocked me. Oh. That was 16-year-old Gia. 19-year-old Gia. I'm doing better. I saw this thing the other day that said, I think it's like if you go out of your way to look at somebody's social media or to see what they're doing when they're no longer in your life, I think it's called a monitoring spirit. And now you're just like, that kind of just like hit me in the face a little bit because it's like, why am I really worried what they're up to?
Yeah.
You know, I got other
it
stuff
ended
going
for
on.
a reason.
Yeah. I don't need to be just like stalking their page every day.
Yeah,
Looking
focus
at their
on what you're
reposts.
doing.
Yeah.
I think if you need to get it out of your system, like the day after, the night of, get it out of your system and then get rid of it. Don't look at it again. Like if you just have to do it once, get it totally out of your system and move on.
I'm working on it.
Yeah. I feel like, so me and Gia took like two different routes. I was fully like writing down like advice. But so kind of while we're talking about dating, one of like my biggest advice to anybody is you have got to date, like when you're looking for your life partner, your soul partner, you've got to date your best friend. They have to be your best friend. Otherwise, it's just...
Were you and Soupy friends before you started dating?
Yes. We were friends, but not friends for too long. So we met once at a party freshman year, and I was there with my friend, and I went to Park at the time, and it was like a Central Kids party because I was friends with kids from St. Mike's, and I met him and his friend, and he was actually flirting with my friend at the time. Yeah, but then forgot about it. I mean, I didn't even like know his name or anything like that. And then he hung out with my group of friends, and I just went over. I was like, her name's Zoe, you know Zoe. We just existed at her home during the summer, and so that's where I met him. And then we were friends all through the summer. Then he asked me to homecoming. Aww. and then we just started hanging out a bit more. Before we even dated, he invited me to like your family's Thanksgiving. I came over for Thanksgiving that year in 2013, and then he asked me out, and then your dad got us Dairy Queen afterwards. But we were friends for like May, June, July, August, September, October. We were probably friends for like 7-8 months before we started dating. But yeah, you got to date your best friend. The biggest thing like with Brian and I is the people that I surround myself with the people I surround myself with are also very similar. They have similar traits, right? Like, you're one of my favorite people in the world. You're very much like Brian. Of course, you're different in your own ways, but like, your core is very similar to his. One of my best friends, Ariel, very similar to Brian. My sister, similar to Brian. Like, all the people I surround myself with, Chad's girlfriend, Haley, very similar to Brian. So, like, if Brian was a girl, I would still be his best friend. And that's why it just works so seamlessly, because, like, you never want to hurt your best friend.
I think Brian is for the girlies.
Oh, Brian's big time
You
for
think
the
Brian
girls.
was written by a woman? You ever heard that
Brian
term?
was totally written by a woman.
I think so too.
He was, and I'm blessed for it.
Yeah.
But he was written by a woman, and I'm grateful for that every day.
Aww.
But even vice versa, like, some of his best friends, like, he'll say I'm also very similar to. So the guys he surrounds himself with are very similar to me. So it's just like, if you look at the person that you're thinking about being with, if they were the same sex as you and you were looking to be friends with them, would you be friends with them? If it's a no, like, if you're looking at a guy and you would not be girl best friends with him, don't date him.
Okay.
Don't date him.
I'm just thinking about it.
Yeah, you
That's
gotta
good
be
advice.
besties. Now we'll get back to the silly stuff.
What else do I have for you? Have you ever gone skinny dipping?
Yeah, like once
In a pool or anything?
in a pool with, like, my friend in middle school.
Yeah.
It's just, like, stupid.
Let
But
me-
other than that, like, I haven't. No, I don't really want to be, like, naked in the.
It does seem really
water.
gross.
Yeah.
It does seem like UTI. Like,
Yeah. Like, I don't even like to take, like, a bath because I just,
yeah.
like.
I feel gross in baths. I
Yeah.
won't lie.
And
I
I've
just
never
feel
had a
icky.
UTI. I've been blessed to not have one, but I think it's because I'm not a bath girly. Like,
Yeah.
So maybe another word of advice: try to avoid the bathtub. Just take a hot shower.
Baths can be so relaxing, but I feel like I just grew up, like, growing up, we only had one bathroom until I think Brian moved downstairs.
Oh, okay.
So we were all using one bathroom. There's 6 of us in the it was just dirty. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
and,
we're
like,
a
I
bunch
don't
of,
wanna
like,
sit
kids
in the
playing
same-
sports. Like, we all got to take, like, not 4 showers, but I remember one point, like, Brian was taking, like, 3 showers a day because he'd go to one practice, come home, shower, go to another practice, come home, shower, and then he was doing something at night. You know what
and
I
that
mean?
boy sweats.
Yes, he stinks. Yeah. Anyways.
And one thing about Brian is he hates to sweat. So, like, the second he feels like he's done anything that would make him sweat, he's in the shower again. So he still showers like 3 times a day.
But our tub, and we have a green tub. It's one of those old ones
Yeah.
that matches, like, the tile of our bathroom. It's pretty. Like, if it was clean, it was pretty. But I just felt icky using it. It felt, every time I got in the bath, it felt like slimy. I just wasn't going for it.
Yeah, no. And then the thought of, like if I was in my own home, the thought of using the same tub that, like, my dad or my brother used, like, that gross. That
Everybody's
icks me
feet
out.
are walking on that. Like,
yeah.
I don't want that.
And I know the boys aren't always washing their feet the way they
Never.
should be.
That's so icky.
Boys are the type to be like, oh, the water rinses down the soap down my legs, so that makes me clean. Guys, start using towels. What is it?
Washcloths?
Washcloths. Why is this a debate right now?
What?
Biggest piece of advice: use a stinking washcloth in
Dude,
the shower.
if you get in the shower and wash your body with your hand, I know you smell bad.
Yeah, like your armpits aren't clean.
No,
they aren't.
No.
Clean.
I understand if you're down bad, like, you don't have a washcloth, whatever. You just gotta, your body just, you know what I mean. You just need a rinse. I understand.
Yeah.
Don't make it a habit, though.
No, don't make it a habit. And, like, I know people can think it's, like, gross, but, like, there's an order, right? Like, you're not washing certain areas after you've washed your feet. Just save your feet.
You
for
gotta take your
last.
hand, like, run it through your crack, like. Anyways, let me tell you about the time I went skinny dipping. So, I think I was, like, I might have been a freshman. I don't really know. I don't remember. It might have been high school. It might have been, like, 8th grade. Me and my friend were in Benwood, and there's, like, there's obviously the Ohio River.
Oh no! Stop it there.
So
The cameras. I'm leaving. Foul.
Oh my gosh. So I think this is actually what's wrong with me.
I think so too.
So anyways, long story short, we get in there. And we get in there with, like, I think we had our swimsuits because we were going swimming. We might have just like got back. We get in there with our swimsuits on, and we look at each other and we're like, tee. Anyways, I ended up taking the top off, and I never took my bottoms off because I'm like, this is dirty. I knew, because they have pulled bodies out of, like, they've pulled mutation, like fish with 3 eyes, you know what I mean, out of the Ohio River. But anyways, on the way back, we're swimming back because we go about like halfway out, and I wasn't even thinking about like the what is it, the undertow?
Oh,
what is it called?
The current.
The
or
current,
like
yeah. Wasn't even thinking about it. We really could have been like, we really could have been unsafe. We went out pretty far. What?
Okay, this is like not a good thing to say, but imagine like getting your body pulled out the river, but like you were skinny dipping.
And you only have like bikini bottoms on. I'd be like, did this girl get dumped here?
Yeah.
Like, no way she like chose to come in here, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, so we're swimming back. And right before we get back to like the little shore, I cut my leg. I cut my leg on something sharp. But I just kept it pushing because what if it was like somebody's toenail, like a body, you know what I mean? I'm in my brain this whole time. I'm thinking there's bodies under me because the Ohio River is so gross. Anybody who lives around here knows it's so gross.
No, that's like thick, dirty water.
Yes. But I cut my leg. I just kept it pushing. I knew it was cut. I felt it was sharp, whatever. And I get out the water and it's like right here. It's just a little cut, but it's bleeding. It just wouldn't stop bleeding. And I just like, I put pressure on it, whatever. Went about my day. Never got infected.
Oh.
Never turned like green, no pus, nothing. It just scabbed and it healed.
Oh.
You know? I have a scar from it.
I'm sure.
But no like UTI or nothing. I think God blessed me and was like, don't do that shit again.
Yeah.
And that was the cut. That was like, that was him telling me, you better just get it together. Don't do that again.
Yeah, that was his warning sign.
Yeah.
Well, thank God it didn't get him. Maybe it's not as dirty as we think.
It is.
Or it was, or the Lord was with you.
Yeah. You think it was a rock? What do you think I cut my leg on?
Hopefully it was a rock.
You think it was like a bottle?
It definitely could have been a bottle.
Yeah,
for
glass.
Sure.
It was sharp. And I was like,
yeah, it probably
just cut my
was a
leg.
bottle. Or like some sort of like metal discarded down like garbage.
Yeah, it could have been. I
Like
could have got
cans.
tetanus. Like,
yeah.
My mom would have beat my ass.
Yeah, I can't believe.
I was bad at that age. I was probably like 13 or 14 years old. I was bad. I was a bad kid. Like, everybody's bad at that age, though. Have you ever used a paper towel instead of toilet paper?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And shamefully, I did flush it down the toilet, which you're not supposed to. You know what's another debate right now?
What?
Ladies, tampons do not get flushed down the toilet.
I learned that as soon as I started using them. Like, you're not supposed to do that.
Have you ever seen the Giggly Squad?
No.
I forget their names, but it's Hannah, her last name starts with B, and then Paige, and I don't know her last name, but Paige was like, no, I flush it down the toilet. And she was like, I thought when places had signs for it to not do it, she was like, I thought they just had bad plumbing. Like, I was like, she was like, get better plumbing.
It's your fault. Like,
yeah. But no, do not come into my house and flush your tampon down the toilet. That is disrespectful. Disrespectful.
I don't think it matters how good your plumbing is. It's just going to tear it up.
Yeah. No, yeah. It's not a matter of good plumbing. But yeah, also, if you do have to use a paper towel, you shouldn't flush those. And shame on myself for doing that a few times. But you're not supposed to. Definitely not supposed to. You got any other questions?
Didn't you go ring shopping while I was away?
I did. Yeah. Brian and I got our wedding rings.
I was just looking at your ring.
Yeah. Yeah. I love mixing jewelry a lot. And so I actually got, my thing is platinum or like silver, but I got a thick gold band because I think it's going to look really good with like this layout.
It's going to be so fun.
Yeah.
You guys have a ring bearer for your...
Maybe we'll see if Q can do it.
That would be cool.
Because I guess we don't. Do you know what's like the worst piece of advice you feel like you've ever gotten from somebody?
Let me think about it for a second. Worst piece of advice I've ever gotten. I don't know, I can tell you one of the best pieces of advice I've ever gotten
let's do that.
Was to always ask questions, because as a kid, you're nervous, you know what I mean, whatever. I learned from an early age. I've just always been curious. I've always been like, if I don't know how to do something, I'm going to ask the question and I'm going to watch you do it. I'm a very hands-on person. I want you to explain it to me and teach me how to do it so I can do it by myself next time. So one of the things, the best advice is to always ask questions, and people are always scared, but I'm like, just talk. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just like, what are they gonna do? Just look at you crazy? Okay.
Yeah. I mean,
somebody taught you at one point, you know?
Exactly. And sometimes it may be a silly little question, but you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have to ask silly little questions.
I'm trying to think of a worst piece of advice.
But that is the best way to learn something, is you're supposed to like get the information, then you're supposed to like do it and like have them show you how to do it, and then teach it to somebody else, and then that's how you like solidify it.
That's
in your brain.
the best way I learn ever. When I'm up at school, I love studying with somebody else. I love learning it by myself. Like if a teacher can teach it to me, perfect. You know what I mean? I need to go back and study it by myself, understand the concept for myself. And then even if you're not in the same class, I'm going to sit here and explain it to you. You know what I mean? But like, you guys want to know what I learned today in like, you know, whatever, history? Like,
yeah. If you know it well enough to be able to teach it to somebody, then you've successfully learned the topic. But yeah. Yeah.
Do you have any more advice for me?
I have like random things. A big thing I feel like that I've learned, and I feel like trying to learn as you grow up, with people pleasing and like making friends, is just try to only make space for people in your life who make space for you, because just it's not worth your time. Like the phone works both ways.
I think I'm still learning that.
Yeah. I think there are times like when you notice a friend maybe the phone isn't working both ways anymore. I think that's a time where if it's like all of a sudden it's like, hey, what's going on? Like, what are you going through? Because if it's kind of like out of the blue, don't just stump a friend. They're probably going through something. But just in general, like if there's someone that you've really tried to be friends with, or like you're trying to date and they just don't make that space for you that you have accommodated and made for them in your life, like it's probably just not. It's not worth your mental health and stress.
Think I'm 50% of the way there from learning that lesson, because I'm a big believer of learning lessons. You know what I mean? That's why we're on Earth. You know what I mean? You
have to make mistakes.
You got to. You got to learn the lesson to be able to anyway. So I recognize it. I recognize when I'm putting more effort in than somebody else, because most recently I was trying to talk to this guy, and I knew I had so much more love to give to him. I was giving him love, but I knew I had so much more to give to him, but I just wouldn't let myself because of the way like he was treating me, or the things that he was doing, and I would recognize, and it's just like I'm recognizing it, but I'm still like just trying to force myself to get past it, because I just want to show love. I just want to, you know what I mean? I want to like pack you cute little snacks, you know what I mean? But I can't, because you're just not treating me good enough to pack you cute little snacks. And just like one step at a time. Like I think recognizing it is important, and I also have like 7 years on you too. And like this is something that I learned, that I feel like I was the reverse of it. Like people were making space for me and I wasn't making space for them, because like my head just wasn't there to be able to do that for more than anybody than just like myself at the time. But and I always have this fear too of like when I make friends, I feel like I need them to make plans a certain amount of times, and then I'll make a plan, because I'm like, they hate me, I'm annoying, I'm a loser, they don't want to hang out with me. But like now I'm better at that. But I think I was kind of on the opposite end, where like I just wasn't making the space that I think people thankfully made for me. But I'm better at it now. But I think that's just like super important. But it's good advice.
Yeah. I don't know. A lot of mine are like kind of like dating related. Like one's like understanding how people handle confrontation is really important for your relationships. Because like me and Brian had a little bit of like a disagreement on something recently, about like what we were going to get engraved on our rings. And it wasn't like serious, but I just needed to take a moment to think about it, because I can't go and immediately have that discussion, because I'll probably either say something I regret, I'll stutter and you won't understand it, or I'll just start crying.
Yeah.
If I haven't processed it yet and it's not that big of a deal, I'll just start crying. It's I don't know how to handle my tears. But so like I sat on it for a day or two just to like think about what I wanted to say to him and explain it properly. And I did. And we just had a discussion about it. And then, of course, we came to an agreement. Whereas, like, it's really important in a relationship to understand that, because someone like me might need to process the issue for 24 hours or a business day. And whereas you might want to handle it right then and there. So that can lead to like actual arguments, right? Because Brian understands that maybe I need to process something first. Whereas like if he didn't understand, right, that could have turned into a huge fight. Like he's like, why aren't you giving me anything? And I'm just like,
Right.
Yeah. So I think that's super important too.
I have two inputs to put on that. One of my biggest pet peeves ever is when someone doesn't communicate, because I'm going to tell you when something upsets me, when like you're doing something that I don't like. And it's not that I don't know, I want to say it's not that hard, but just to be like, hey, I don't like that. I don't like how you like talk to other girls or something. Like I don't like the way that you're going through my things or something like that. Like I don't think that's that difficult. But for something more complex, I think it's just because my frontal lobe is maybe starting to develop. As soon as I got to college, I recognized that when I feel a certain type of way, I don't need to speak until I have the words. Because I would try to get my point across, but it's not necessarily exactly how I feel. I'm just trying to get my point across, but it's like I haven't found my point yet. I know it makes me feel some kind of way, but I just haven't figured out a way to put it into words. And I was trying to speak. I was trying to like say something, and then it would be taken wrong, taken out of context, and it's like, well, I didn't really mean that. So now I speak when it's like I can stand behind it. You know what I mean? That's what I mean. And if you take it the wrong way, well, I put it on your plate exactly the way I feel, you know?
Yeah. Because sometimes too, it's just like, it's maybe like sometimes something happens and you're upset right off the bat, and then you think about it for that 24-hour period and you're like,
really
wait, maybe I'm not upset about that. I think I was just like, for me, right before my period, it's just like, you could have stole my Snickers bar. I'm just kidding. But yeah, no, I think that's a great point. Like understanding your thoughts and how you feel about it before you speak on it. Because otherwise, like politicians should definitely take that word of advice. Understand what your thoughts are before you go out and start saying them.
I didn't watch the debate, but I saw clips of it and I giggled.
Yeah, that debate was...
Somebody said give them both a charged lemonade from Panera and see who wins. You know what I mean? Like, see who outlives it.
Oh my god.
That made me giggle.
Yeah, that whole thing, that was just like elder abuse, honestly, probably on both sides. Yeah. One a little bit more significantly, but yeah, that was terrible. I posted on my story, I was like, this is like watching I was like, this seems like it's the SNL skit, not the real thing.
That was a big thing.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, that's kind of all I have.
Okay. Let me tell you about the Woman of the Week.
Tell me about her.
So, I don't know what today is, but the day this is going to be posted is July 3rd. Yeah, that's Wednesday.
Yep.
So, you know, July 4th being our Independence Day. I felt it was on theme to talk about Betsy Ross.
Wow.
What about out the box?
What
about out the box? So there's not a whole lot about her because she is from like the 1800s, you know what I mean? What were they doing back then? Fighting wars. They were fighting wars back then. For independence. They were fighting independence.
Not brushing their teeth.
Not brushing their teeth. Oh my gosh.
That's my only thing with like period dramas. Whenever watching them, all I can think about, the fact is like when they kiss, I'm like, did they have toothbrushes yet?
Their breath probably reeks.
Yeah.
I know they smelled.
That's gross.
Anywho. So Betsy Ross, her government name is Elizabeth Griscom. I think she got that last name from one of her husbands. That might have been her birth name. So she was born on January 1st, 1752. back when in New Jersey. She came from generations of craftsmen. So her whole family, like all the men, all the women, were just working with their hands. Her father was a house carpenter. She attended a Quaker school while she was young, and I had to look up what Quakers was. It's a religion. So Quakers believe that God is within everybody.
Okay.
Like the spirit is within everybody. It seems just like Catholics. I don't know. I don't really know. But she was a Quaker. At her Quaker school, she was an apprentice, so she was learning from a man who was a what's the word? Hold on, let me find it. Upholstery.
Oh, okay.
So she was an apprentice from an upholsterer. Yeah, that's why I was like, what? So she was an apprentice. She learned how to sew mattresses, chair covers, and window blinds. That's pretty cool, right?
Nice.
So in 1773, at age 21, she eloped to a fellow apprentice. He was the son of an Episcopal priest. So, like, you know, mixing religions. She got banned. She got expelled from the Quaker church because she eloped to this man. So thus,
did she have a choice though if she eloped to the man?
Yeah. I think so, yeah.
I just assumed she probably was like.
There was nothing about that, but thinking of the times, you know,
she was probably like that. Probably wasn't her choice.
Yeah, it might not have been.
Yeah,
1700s, it might not have been.
Don't quote us on that one.
Yeah, but they opened up an upholstery shop together because they were both under the same apprenticeship. Her husband's name was John. They eloped, and he joined the militia. And 2 years later, he died at war.
Dang.
Yeah, which was common. Whatever. But she still has this shop. She's still doing good. In 1776 or 1777, because it was so long ago, they don't have the exact, like, on paper. You know, it's just like, we know it happened, and it was probably between this and this time. Betsy was visited by General George Washington.
What?
Regarding a design for the flag for the new nation he was fighting for. Washington originally wanted stars with 6 points because you could cut it with just one fabric fold, apparently. You didn't have to fold it different ways.
Okay.
But Betsy was the final decision for the 5-pointed star, apparently.
Well, good. I feel like a 6-pointed star would look weird.
A little weird, wouldn't it?
I can't picture that in my head.
Anyways, so she made that final, like, decision eventually.
Well, thank you, Betsy.
Yeah, 79 was when it was recorded that, okay, Betsy Ross put 5-pointed stars on this flag. You know what I mean? And she's shipping them and producing them.
Yeah, she's just taken 2 to 3 years back there sewing them. She's working
in that sweatshop and just wait, it gets better on. So there's receipts from 1779.
I wonder what a receipt looked like back then.
It's just, actually, it's funny because it says receipts. It's not just like, you know, screenshots, whatever. It's receipt. So it's like, I don't know. It's probably like $12 or something. Like 12 iron pieces.
Cost back then.
It told me, but I don't know if I wrote it down. But the thing is there's receipts from her, but there's also receipts from 3 other women in the same area.
Oh.
So, and around that time,
like 3 other women were helping her make them?
They were making
Unclear.
their own. They were making their own.
Oh,
and
did
the
they
thing
nap her design?
The thing was during that time was maybe like some women's rights. So it was like nationalism, like the revolution, females, like empowerment. All these women that could sew were trying to be like, well, I made the American flag. Like, I made the flag. I made the design. I did it. Because you could produce it. You know what I mean? If you knew how to sew, you could make it.
Yeah.
They were making it. Like, Betsy Ross was not the only one making this flag to send to war. You know what I mean? For them to use to put up wherever.
So you think it was like collaborative, or they were like beefing over who gets the rights?
It could have been. I think it was beef. I think Betsy Ross, I hope this is true. I hope Betsy Ross is the originator. I hope she came up with the 5-pointed star and everybody else just was making her design. I hope she didn't just claim it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because we credit her, and it would be so like, wow, she stole somebody's design. Anyways, so in 77,
I wonder what the conspiracy theorists say on it.
that is funny. In 77, she married another man named Joseph Ashburn. She had 2 daughters with him, but he died in British prison.
Oh,
yeah.
Like
so now she has lost. Yeah. So now she has lost 2 husbands due to war. A year later, she married John Claypool. She had 5 daughters. This woman has 7 daughters. But he was imprisoned with her last husband, Ashburn. So those two were both in the same British prison, but this man got out. Isn't that crazy?
7 daughters with no epidural is crazy.
Wow. Fighting for her life.
She was.
Over the next decade, Betsy and her daughters sewed upholstery and made flags and banners for the new USA. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of all Betsy is kind of known for. She didn't really do anything else other than like sew and make the flags and, do.
Well, thanks for the education.
Yeah, shout out Betsy.
Yeah. But I think that's all we have for you guys. That's episode 5. Been there, done that. Hosted by Table 304. We'll put all their Instagram and stuff. Things to know about them. They made me love matcha. Great coffee.
It's such a cute, cozy environment here.
Yeah, like I'm comfy.
I know.
Except I might be can you get sunburnt through the window?
Yes, you can definitely get sunburnt because I get sunburnt in the car.
Yeah. I should have put sunscreen on to sit over here.
I don't get sunburnt in the car. I was just talking. Just talking to talk.
She's just fibbing.
I'm just joking.
But upstairs too, they host different showers. Right now it's decorated for a cute little baby shower. So we gotta get out of there here so they can enjoy their baby shower. But yeah, pretty cool place.
I got some really stickers cool while I was here.
Yeah. But that's all we got for you.
Thanks for watching.
Bye.
I'm gonna go show the camera my sticker.
What?
I'm gonna show the camera my sticker.
Okay. Titi. Oh, let me hit stop.